Hello everyone, welcome to Story Time with Michele. Thank you so much for joining me for another lovely story read aloud. Before I share with you the book I'm going to read today, I have a question. Do you like getting mail? Isn't it exciting when there's a card or a letter or a package with your name on it just for you? Wow, I love opening up the envelope and discovering what's inside and knowing that someone took the time to send me a special message. Well, I think probably everyone likes getting mail. And the story I'm sharing with you today is about how special getting a letter can be, and also about someone we might not be paying too much attention to, the mailman. I'm sharing The Lonely Mailman today, and it was written by Susana Isern and illustrated by Daniel Montero Galán and published by Cuento de Luz. And thank you so much to my friends at Cuento de Luz for allowing me to share this book with you. Now let's see how this mailman that we see right here on the cover delivers mail to all of the forest animals. Oh yeah, even the forest animals get mail. Let's read. The Lonely Mailman, written by Susana Isern, illustrated by Daniel Montero Galán, and published by Cuento de Luz. Every morning, just as the sun is rising, the old mailman leaves his house with a bag full of letters. He climbs onto his bicycle and sets off on his way. And there he goes. The mailman goes to each door, rings the bell, and only says 4 words. "Squirrel, letter for you." He whispers so quietly that even he can hardly hear the words. "Hedgehog, letter for you." Looks like this is the letter for the squirrel. Let's read it. Dear Squirrel, sorry about pricking you yesterday when I bumped into you at the market. To make up for it, come over for dinner at 8 and don't be late. Hedgehog. Dear Hedgehog, I know you pricked me yesterday, but don't worry. I know you didn't mean to. If you invite me for dinner, we can have a chat. I'll be there at 8, so see you then. Squirrel. Sometimes the animals that live in the forest offer him a cup of coffee, but the mailman always smiles, says no thank you, and rides off in a cloud of dust. Dormouse, letter for you. He never gets off his bicycle. Woodpecker, letter for you. Let's read the letter that the dormouse received. I only realized yesterday that I'm tapping away next to your nest. I know how much you like to rest, so I'm off to find another tree to peck. Woodpecker. Oh, there's the woodpecker, and there's his letter. Let's read it. Dear Woodpecker, the tree where you started to peck is next to my nest, and now I can hardly sleep. Couldn't you move to another tree? Dormouse. The animals see him cycling through the forest every day, but they hardly know him. Butterfly, letter for you. In fact, nobody knows anything about the mailman at all. Turtle, letter for you. Ooh, let's read the letter that the butterflies got. Beautiful butterflies, there's plenty of room on my shell where you can sunbathe in peace and quiet. And if it starts to rain, you can all come inside for a cup of tea. Turtle. Well, that's very kind. Let's see the letter that the turtle gets. Dear wise old turtle, we'd love to come and visit you, to flutter around and keep you cool, and sit a while on your lovely shell, listening to your tales while we enjoy the sun. The butterflies. How sweet. Some of the animals think that the mailman is sad, and that's why he doesn't say much. Bear, letter for you. But nobody really knows, because nobody's ever asked him. Rabbit, letter for you. Let's read the bear's letter. Dear Bear, when I see you swimming in the lake, I want to be there with you. But I feel a bit scared because I am afraid to get water in my ears and I can't swim. Rabbit. Aw, well, let's see what Rabbit's letter says, "Dear Rabbit, I've had a great idea for when I'm bathing in the lake. You can climb up on my back, just as if I were a big old boat." Bear, well, that was very generous of him. All through the day, the old mailman rides around delivering mail in the forest. He visits the wolf, the deer, the frogs, the beaver, the fox, the skunk, and the fish in the river. Look at that, everyone's got their letter. At last the sun sets, and the mailman has no more letters in his bag. Feeling very tired, he heads home. I love this illustration. The sun is setting, and some of the animals are turning candles on to see at night. Every night, the old mailman sits down in the flickering candlelight and writes letters. They are the letters he'll be delivering the next day. Invitations, apologies, plans, and messages full of love. He writes and writes until he's exhausted, then falls fast asleep on top of his typewriter. Oh, it's the mailman writing these letters. What a beautiful illustration. One day, when the mailman is just about to finish his round, something amazing happens. The last letter has his name and his address written on the envelope. It's a letter for him. He looks so surprised he almost fell off of his bike. The mailman nervously heads home. It's the first time he's ever had a letter. When he arrives, he puts it in the mailbox and whispers 4 words, "Mailman, letter for you." Then he opens the mailbox and takes out the letter and enters his house. Did anybody notice this weather vane over here? Usually it says north, east, south, and west. This one has an O instead of a W for west, because this book was published first in Spanish. And in Spanish, west is oeste. So you have the N for norte, O for oeste, S for sur, and E for este. Well, let's read his letter. Dear Mailman, for a long time your letters have filled our days with love and happiness, but now we've discovered your secret, and we want to thank you. Most of all, we want to share our happiness with you. The forest animals. Aww. The old mailman feels a big lump in his throat, and his eyes fill with tears. Suddenly, the old doorbell lets out a rusty squeak. It's the first time anyone has ever come to the mailman's door. He plucks up his courage and opens the door. Outside, the forest animals are waiting. When they see him, they all rush over. The old mailman smiles and blushes amongst all the cheers and hugs, and then he begins to think about all the letters he'll be writing tonight. Everyone is there to say thank you. The end. Wow, that really was a sweet story. That mailman was always thinking of others, wasn't he? Trying to help them solve their problems and encouraging them to get along. And in the end, all of his generosity came back to him when all of the animals got together to thank him for all of the thoughtful work that he had been doing. Well, most of all, I think this book is about repaying kindness with kindness. And I think that's a beautiful message I hope everyone takes away and thinks about. And maybe we try to do that ourselves today. Wouldn't that be nice? I'd love to hear from you. Visit me on Facebook at Storytime with Michele Book Club. We can talk about The Lonely Mailman or any other picture book that you enjoy. I can't wait to hear from you. Check the video description below for a link to buy your very own copy. Click on the thumbs up if you liked the video, and remember to subscribe to the channel. Keep reading, and until next time, bye-bye!